You ever get accused of robbing your own house before breakfast? Yeah, me neither. Until the day I moved into my uncle's old lake house and suddenly found myself starring in a one-man episode of Cops for the Crime of Existing. 3 patrol cars, lights blazing, tires screaming, just to watch me drag a busted recliner across the front lawn. The HOA president called the police on me while sipping coffee on her patio, probably congratulating herself for saving the neighborhood. Honestly, if I'd known inheriting property meant inheriting a full-blown turf war, I might have just asked for a gift card instead. I swear, you couldn't make this stuff up. Picture me, standing on the porch, keys in one hand, driver's license and deed in the other, looking at a cop who's barely awake enough to read my name. I'm Theodore Palmer. I say, real slow, like maybe he needs me to spell it. The man glances at my paperwork for all of 2 seconds before turning to the woman with the sharpest tennis whites I've ever seen and saying, "Well, Mrs. Fitzgerald, good catch. Better safe than sorry." Then they pack up and roll out like I'm not even worth the paperwork. That's when Brenda Fitzgerald, queen bee of this little slice of paradise, gets right up in my face, doused in perfume and entitlement. "I don't care what papers you have," she hisses. "You don't belong here. Cross me, and I'll destroy you." Bold words from a woman who just threatened a guy who owns, well, a whole lot more on this block than she realizes. In fact, she's about to find out she picked the wrong guy for her neighborhood inquisition. So, what would you do if the person who's supposed to protect community values is actually the biggest threat around? Believe me, this revenge is the kind that goes down smooth and leaves an aftertaste. Before I show you how sweet karma can get, let's rewind a bit. Let me tell you how I, an ordinary guy with a busted Honda and a taste for diner coffee, ended up in a showdown with a tennis mom who thinks she runs the world. 3 months back, 6 a.m., I get the call. Uncle Theodore died in his sleep. Heart just gave out, quiet as can be. Now, I'll be honest, Uncle Theo wasn't exactly Mr. Rogers. He'd pop into family dinners twice a year, talk about municipal bonds, never remembered anyone's birthday. Honestly, the guy had all the warmth of tax form. What I didn't know was that while we all saw him as the boring uncle, he'd been playing Monopoly in real life and winning. Fast forward to his lawyer's office. The place smells like old money and secrets. The lawyer pushes a folder across his desk. "Congratulations, Mr. Palmer. You now own Willowbrook Lake Properties, LLC. I'm thinking great, maybe a nice little lake house, a leaky boat dock, nothing too flashy." Huh. Turns out it's 12 custom homes on one of those gated, postcard-perfect retirement lakes, with private beaches and enough rules to fill a phone book. We're talking houses that start at $1 million, boat slips that cost more than my student loans, neighbors who pay someone else to mow the grass, and then brag about getting their hands dirty in the garden. Running the place is none other than Brenda Fitzgerald, age 58, widow, former bank manager, and reigning dictator of the HOA for 6 years. Brenda doesn't manage a neighborhood. She runs a full-on regime. Every letter, every fine, every community improvement project, it's all her. The woman even has a favorite font for violation notices. Let me tell you, the paperwork in this place is scarier than the IRS. It doesn't take me long to see how things really work. Uncle Theo's old files smell like dust and old cologne. But tucked inside, phone logs, letters, photos, even audio tapes. Turns out, Brenda has been waging war on anyone who doesn't fit her vision. That nice widow 2 doors down, who couldn't afford weekly landscaping, finds so often she sold her place. The young family with 3 kids who laughed too loud, harassed until they moved. Uncle Theo was documenting every bit of it, building a case thicker than the HOA handbook. So there I am, moving in, jeans, college t-shirt, baseball cap, dragging boxes while 2 college kids I hire for the day help out. Big mistake, apparently. In Brenda's universe, homeowners arrive in pressed khakis, driving something German, preferably silver. Not in rental trucks with sweat stains and hand-me-down furniture. I'm just trying to get my grandmother's old chest, things heavy as guilt, out of the truck when I catch a glimpse of Brenda peeking through her curtains. She's got the neighborhood watch face on, like she's catching me in the act of stealing my own memories. 20 minutes later, the cops show up. After they leave, Brenda doesn't even bother to hide her disgust. "We have standards here," she sniffs, as if there's a right way to inherit a dead uncle's house. That's when it hits me. She's not just a nuisance, she's a problem. But what she doesn't know is that Uncle Theo left me every tool I need to solve it. First weekend, I get a package that weighs more than a turkey. 47 pages of violation notices, most of them for things that happened before I even knew I was the new owner. Parking my Honda Civic, too non-conforming for the neighborhood. Uncle Theo's shed, which has been standing for 15 years, now suddenly an unauthorized structure. And my personal favorite, wildflower garden. Unapproved landscaping. Never mind that it's the prettiest patch in the whole block. Oh, and late fees. 3 months' worth. Even though Uncle Theo was dead and the house was in probate. Tack on a $500 administrative fee, just for fun. That's $2,847 before I've even unpacked. The real art is in how petty it all feels, how much it stings. I call the HOA. Some teenager answers, bored out of his mind. Yeah, you gotta pay in 10 days or legal action. Who handles this stuff? Mrs. Fitzgerald. Of course. That's when I stopped playing defense. Uncle Theo's study is a paper fortress, files labeled, cross-referenced, everything from property records to recordings of HOA meetings. The more I dig, the uglier it gets. Brenda's tennis buddy Nancy parks an RV for half a year, no fine. But the Martinez family gets a $200 ticket for leaving their garbage out a few extra hours. Mrs. Patterson's lawn dries up. Emergency assessment that nearly puts her on the street. Uncle Theo had highlighted one thing in red, everywhere. Most HOA boards can only fine you for actual rules, not whatever new policy Brenda invents after brunch. She'd been making up standards on the fly, illegal, and in this state, makes her personally liable. Buried in the paperwork? Letters from a lawyer named Sarah Kim, the kind who scares crooked board members for a living. Uncle Theo was days away from launching a lawsuit so big, Brenda would have had to refinance her ego just to pay the legal bills. But now it's on me. Brenda tries another trick. Hits me with a $300 fine for my kayak, citing a registration policy that didn't exist last month, only enforced against certain families. Time for some offense. I challenge the fines and file a request for all HOA financial records, my legal right as a homeowner. Brenda's face when I show up with the certified request? Priceless. She calls an emergency HOA meeting, probably thinking she'll humiliate me in front of the neighbors. But instead, Bob Martinez, Linda Palmer, and old Frank Sullivan, people Brenda's bullied for years, stand up and say, enough. Brenda's perfect poker face cracks. Later that day, I catch her sprinklers running in broad daylight, violating water restrictions she helped write. Snap a few photos. She threatens me over her security light shining into my kitchen. I calmly tell her it's harassment. She tells me to prove it. Don't worry, Brenda, I will. Uncle Theo taught me one golden rule. Bullies always hang themselves if you give them enough rope. 2 weeks later, it's mailbox time. Another violation, $400 for a replacement, only from Lakefront Mailbox Solutions, which, shocker, is owned by Brenda's brother-in-law. I call them, pretending to be a customer. For most folks, it's $50. For Willowbrook, $400. Brenda's family is running a racket with homeowner dues. I dig into the records. Tens of thousands paid out to consultants who all turn out to be Brenda's relatives. Pool contracts, landscaping, security. If there's a job, Brenda's got a cousin getting paid. That's called self-dealing. Illegal, by the way. Uncle Theo documented every penny. Brenda tries barring me from the community pool, claims I'm a threat. I check with Bob, Linda, Frank. No one complained. I call the pool company. They say Brenda owes them $12,000 for unauthorized repairs. She's spending community money without approval, hiding expenses in the budget. Next comes the nuclear option, an emergency $800 assessment for infrastructure repairs. Pay up in 10 days, or else. No documentation, no estimates, just threats. Half the neighbors are scared, half are angry. This time, nobody's just rolling over. Brenda doubles down, going door to door, spinning tales about me flipping houses, bringing in renters, even low-income housing. She's not just being petty now, she's being racist. She hands out a petition, thinly veiled as protecting community values, but everyone knows what it really means. She gets 3 signatures before the calls start coming in. You need to see what Brenda's saying about you. She's gone full villain. Thursday morning, I find a security guard outside my house, hired by Brenda, with HOA funds to monitor the situation. They're photographing my friends, measuring my lawn, logging my garbage schedule. The security company? Another of Brenda's cousins. But the worst comes when she slaps a violation on Uncle Theo's beloved native garden. Unapproved vegetation, attracting undesirable wildlife. The garden's full of rare species, a local showcase. I call Dr. Sarah Kim, the botanist who helped create it. She's livid. Some of these plants took decades. Destroying this would be vandalism. That night, neighbor Tom comes by shaken. Brenda told him I'm not the right sort, tried to recruit him to keep my kind out. Tom's a quiet, retired teacher. He tells me, my dad fought Nazis. I won't stay silent for this. The mask's off. Brenda's not hiding anymore. Friday's meeting is tense. I've got the evidence. The neighbors are fed up, and Brenda, dressed for a power lunch, thinks she's got it in the bag. She gives a dramatic speech about community crisis. But as soon as she starts lying about repairs, Bob and Linda demand to see real documents. Brenda can't produce a single receipt. Then, she tries blaming me as the hostile element threatening the neighborhood. That's my cue. I stand up, Uncle Theo's folder in hand. I lay out the facts. 8 of the 12 homes, owned by the Palmer family. The lake access, Palmer-owned. The HOA management company, also Palmer-owned. Brenda's been working for my family the whole time. She just didn't know it. Every contract she signed, every fine she issued was illegal. Then, Sarah Kim steps in. She's got the evidence. Brenda's embezzled thousands through kickbacks to relatives, violated civil rights, committed fraud. The county tax assessor stands up next. Brenda owes $34,000 in unpaid taxes. Channel 7's camera crew is there to catch every second. Brenda tries to rally, but the room's turned. Then, the best part. The FBI steps forward. Brenda Fitzgerald, you're under arrest for mail fraud, conspiracy, and civil rights violations. The cuffs click, and the whole neighborhood watches as the woman who terrorized them for years gets walked out, jaw slack, eyes wild. As she passes me, I just say, patience is a virtue. 6 months later, Willowbrook Lake is unrecognizable in the best way. Brenda's gone, banned from any HOA for life. Her mansion sold to cover restitution. The new HOA board, real people who actually live here, run things with transparency. Every meeting is posted online. All Brenda's illegal fines? Refunded with interest. Mrs. Patterson, the widow who nearly lost her home, wept when she got her check back. We set up the Theodore Palmer Memorial Fund. 2 kids a year get college scholarships, environmental science, community service. The garden Brenda tried to destroy is now the centerpiece of our new conservation project. Dr. Kim runs classes for local kids, teaching them about native plants and real stewardship. Turns out, when you get rid of tyrants, communities actually thrive. People hang out, kids play, barbecue, smoke, and laughter drift across the water instead of fear and resentment. And property values? They're up, because people actually want to live where they feel safe. Uncle Theo was right. Document everything. Know your rights. Don't let bullies intimidate you into silence. Sunlight and legal pressure. Turns out, that's all it takes to bring down an empire built on lies. So now, sitting on the porch as the sun rises, coffee in hand, I finally get it. Justice delayed isn't justice denied. Sometimes, it's just justice perfected. Let me ask you, what would you have done? Would you have fought back, or just moved on? Have you ever been on the receiving end of a petty tyrant with too much power? Tell me about your HOA nightmares. Or better yet, how you turn the tables. Drop your stories below. Because in the end, maybe the best way to fix a broken community is to stop letting people like Brenda run the show.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.